Welcome back to another episode of Sports-Fixx. I'm your host, Carson Becker. We are back in March. It's March Madness, very close, getting to the conference tournaments here. They're already underway. I'll be talking a lot about basketball here in the next couple of weeks with conference tournaments and then March Madness coming right up after that. So we'll see how the tournament goes. Selection Sunday coming up this weekend, and should be a great tournament. We have a lot of great teams. The 1 seeds are looking great. Some of the 2, 3 seeds also looking good. 31-0, Miami of Ohio, undefeated. Not favored in their conference tournament, but looking to get an automatic bid by winning their conference tournament there. That's another team that could be really good, putting up a lot of points. And, of course, you got all the SEC teams, Big Ten teams, bunch of great teams should be in the tournament this year. Conference tournaments should also be very good as well. So we'll see how all that goes throughout this week and into next week with March Madness starting next Thursday. Should be a great tournament. But before we get into the basketball side of things here going on today and tomorrow, I'll talk about some news coming out of the NFL. We got Tua no longer on the Dolphins. They're releasing him, parting ways after 6 years. Suffered a couple of injuries there in Miami. Had a little up and down years. Didn't quite get them to where they needed to be, so they're parting ways. Dolphins may be looking to draft a QB out of this draft class, or maybe even pick one up for free agency and kind of have a bridge guy until next season when there's a great draft class coming out. So we'll see what goes on with Miami there, no longer with Tua. And then also Kenneth Walker III signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a great pickup for Kansas City, coming off a Super Bowl win. He was a Super Bowl MVP, had a great season last year, played great in that Super Bowl. Just really gave the Patriots all sorts of trouble all game. So great pickup there for the Chiefs as they go into next season with a great running back. And maybe not having Patrick Mahomes next season, but having Kenneth Walker and Travis Kelce could potentially be a solid team there. We'll see. So now I'll get into some of the basketball and conference tournaments that I wanted to talk about today and tomorrow with all the tournaments coming up. Most of the tournaments coming up tomorrow with Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, all the big tournaments. But some of the lower end tournaments, the mid-conference tournaments, Sun Belt Championship is going on tonight. The surprising 10 seed Georgia Southern taking on the 1 seed Troy for a chance to punch their ticket to the tournament. 10 seed Georgia Southern. Nobody thought they were going to be in their conference tournament when it started. They've had an unbelievable Cinderella run. It's March. That's what March is made of, these Cinderella runs. Troy is favored by 5.5 in this one, and the last time these two played, Troy did win 83-78. So they won by that 5-point margin right there. So we'll see how this game goes. Neutral site. Georgia Southern's been hot. A team gets hot in March. It's very hard to beat that team. We see these runs in March Madness. We see these runs in the conference tournaments. NC State, not too long ago, had a great run in their conference tournament and then made a solid run in the main tournament as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Honestly, I'm not sure who wins this game. I really want to see Georgia Southern continue to win. Haven't paid attention enough to these two teams until now. I really would like to see Georgia Southern continue the Cinderella run and punch their ticket with an automatic bid to the main tournament. And unfortunately for Troy, they're the 1 seed. They're supposed to be there. They're favored by 5.5. They very easily could win this game. Not very easy. They very well could win this game. Both these teams pretty even in like points per game, rebounds, all that. Troy does do a little bit better of a job in those senses, but should be a good game coming on tonight. Championship, Sun Belt. So we'll see what goes on with that. And then we also have the West Coast Conference semifinal going on. Oregon State versus Gonzaga, team that's already going to be in the tournament, but looking to go and win their tournament. Gonzaga favored by 18.5. Don't see them having too much trouble with this Oregon State team. They really outnumber them in most of the statistical categories. They put up 86 points a game. Oregon State only puts up 71. Gonzaga only gives up 66 points. Oregon State gives up like 77. So not a very good matchup for Oregon State. Gonzaga might just run right through them and get all the way to their conference championship there, where they will play the winner of St. Mary's versus Santa Clara. St. Mary's versus Gonzaga would be a great rematch, as one of Gonzaga's losses is to St. Mary's earlier in the year. by 11 points. So that would be a great matchup there. If those two teams can win, would be a great finish to the West Coast Conference there, WCC. So some great games, some great conference tournament games coming up. The main tournament starting tomorrow, like I said, a bunch of the conferences, Big Ten, Michigan being the 1 seed, the ACC starts tomorrow as well, Duke being the 1 seed. Obviously, those teams aren't going to play till later in the week, but those conference tournaments will start very, very soon, as close as tomorrow. I think at like noon they start, so you will be able to see some of the like more teams you've probably been watching throughout the year. I know I've been watching a lot of the ACC teams, Big Ten teams. I think Big 12 also starts tomorrow, so a lot of the good games. SEC I think starts on Wednesday, so some of the more teams you've probably been watching throughout the year instead of these lower end conferences, but mid conferences that still have good teams. So we'll see what goes on with that. And remember, the MAC continues on Thursday night as undefeated Miami of Ohio takes on UMass. Miami of Ohio, they did it. They did their undefeated season, 31-0. Currently not favored to win their conference tournament, though. That's a little bit interesting, as they are right behind Akron for the best odds to win their conference tournament there. Akron, the 2 seed, so not much of a surprise there, other than Miami of Ohio being undefeated and being the 1 seed in their conference tournament. So we'll see what goes on in the MAC. Should be interesting. Miami, Ohio, if they go on and win their tournament, they will be a lock. Right now, showing at like I think the last I saw was a 62% chance to make the tournament if they don't win their conference tournament. So it's tough for them. They don't play in the best conference, so they kind of have to go and win a lot of games. Kind of like the low end teams in college football. It's kind of how it goes. But I think if a team goes undefeated, they should be in. So that's my opinion on that. But we'll see what goes on. 1 seeds. We're looking at 1 seeds for the main tournament. You're looking at Michigan, Duke, Arizona, and I've seen Iowa State at the moment being the other 1 seed. So 4 really good teams. Iowa State kind of on the lower end of the other 3 teams, but still a very good team. They put up a lot of points. They're a great rebounding team. They've had some comebacks where they've had to come back and win some games down 10 late in the game. So we'll see how those teams perform in their conference tournaments, see if they continue to get those 1 seeds. Looking like Michigan, Duke, and Arizona probably are going to get those 1 seeds no matter what. Iowa State might flip with somebody as a 2 seed, but still some good teams. And there are some great teams in this tournament. And it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting tournament, conference tournament, and main tournament. So we'll see what goes on. I'll continue to do these episodes and talk about all the conference tournament games and the main tournament on Selection Sunday with all the seeds and all the games, all the matchups. I'll even do my own bracket here on this channel, and you'll see what I think, who I think is going to win the whole thing. So that's all I have for this episode of Sports-Fixx. Thank you for watching. I'm Carson Becker, and I will see you next time.